we go. So, hello, I'm Michael Finn, holistic exercise and lifestyle coach. And tonight we are going to be talking about holistic health codes. Primarily, the most thing I'm going to cover tonight is holistic health code 0, but I'm going to do a short little review of the other codes. So I am a holistic health practitioner, and I have been for over 20 years now. And I work with clients of all varieties. And through those 20 years, I have found that there are particular holistic health codes and or principles that apply to just about everybody. And if we follow these particular health codes, we move closer to our dreams and our goals and what we actually want to accomplish. So, and it doesn't really matter on whether these health codes are for somebody who just wants to lose weight or if it's somebody that wants to become an Olympic athlete. These health codes are important, excuse me, all across the board so that we can actually create a healthy body. And then with your healthy body, you can mold it just like a sculptor into anything that you want it to become. So yes, genetics play a role in things, and no, I'm never going to be a marathon runner because I'm just way too darn tall and too big. Marathon runners weigh about 120 pounds, and there's no way I could get down to 120 pounds. So same thing goes with, I probably could never be a sumo wrestler because I'm way too stringy of a body and I'm not short and stocky. So, but I can be super duper healthy and athletic in the things that my body is more built for. So results that have come over the years, these are just a few examples of, whether it is, I've worked with a handful of people that have lost over 100 pounds over the course of a couple of years by following the health codes. Worked with lots of people that want to be strong and functional and fit and stay that way throughout their life as they get older and as their life continues, so that they can function well and not have aches and pains or be injuring themselves all the time doing things, or get into their 60s and 70s and can't get up off the floor and all that kind of good stuff. I've helped a number of people get into athletics at all levels and improve and achieve the level of athletic performance that they wanted to achieve, including top senior athletes that are in their 60s, as well as younger athletes that wanted to get into more weightlifting or calisthenic type activities and performances that way. Over probably more of the last decade to maybe just a little bit more than that, I've had a lot of younger female clients coming to me wanting to balance out their body naturally and holistically to rebalance the hormonal system so that they can have a happy and healthy family and have children without pharmaceuticals or going to fertility clinics or anything along those lines. So, and I kind of probably need to ask Sierra if I can update this picture, because Sierra has 3 daughters now, not just this one. But I've got a handful of families that I work with that all came to me with ideas of wanting to have healthy children, as well as how to raise their children to stay healthy and be strong. And it's all about following the holistic health codes. And then we've got people that are, kind of like your weekend warriors or recreational athletes, like golfers and tennis players and things like that, that just want to continue to play their sports, just like I like to continue to play my sports throughout my whole life. I never want to actually have to stop playing sports. And so they want to, both improve and continue. And then also people that just want to feel really good in their life and be peaceful in their life and manage their stress and be calm in what oftentimes can feel as a very hectic and stressful world. So all of these different various people, all of the holistic health codes apply to all of them, no matter what their goal is. So the only time it changes is once they've really kind of mastered the basics of the holistic health codes. Then we can start manipulating them slightly for what is going to help benefit them. So as an example, on top of playing baseball as my primary sport, I'm also a sprinter. And so my workouts, my exercise routines are going to be very different than most other people because I need to sprint at high levels of speed and move my limbs very, very quickly. And so therefore, my nutritional habits might be, I will still be consuming the same kind of foods, but I will be consuming them slightly differently to basically improve what I really need to improve upon. So by becoming incredibly lean during the top parts of the season. So it doesn't really matter what your dreams or your goals are. The holistic health codes are the things that are going to get you the farthest towards them. So if that makes sense, because they're the thing that's going to make your body, your mind, your spirit, your energy at its very best. And therefore, you're going to be able to get the most out of it and develop what you want. So let me do a little rundown through the first few holistic health codes that I've been providing to people already in the holistic health code program that I have online. I will talk about that at the end. It's free right now, and it's going to be free for the next 30 days too. So people are welcome to jump in when they want to. So, and I kind of shorten it like everybody else does. So I call my little health codes my HHC program. So holistic health code number 1 is you are what you eat. So our body is made from everything that we put into it throughout our life. So as soon as we are born, cells start dying in our body. So whether it's skin cells, we go through about a layer of skin about every 3 days. Cells in your nails, cells in your organs, cells in your brain, blood cells die. Everything has a lifespan on it. So in the cellular world. And so when a cell dies, before it's going to die, it needs to replicate itself so that a new cell can take its place. And every time that happens, the body has to create something. And the only thing it can create it from is the food that you eat, because every cell in your body is made with protein, fat, and water. And so if there is not a really good supply of protein, fat, and water, not just meaning like a shortage, but meaning the quality of what you're consuming, then it has to make a poor quality cell. And so if you have poor quality cells in your brain, well, then it might be hard to remember things, or it might be hard to come up with new ideas, or it might be difficult to sustain focus for long periods of time, simply because the cells in your brain are made from poor quality food. Same thing goes with your heart and your liver and your lungs and your arteries and your veins and your muscles and your bones and your cartilage and everything else. So every little bit of it turns over. So some books out there say that we turn over every single cell in our body over a course of 7 years, so that every 7 years your body is completely new. And certain things turn over much faster. So say like the red blood cells in your bloodstream basically turn over about every 2 weeks. So every about 2 to 3 weeks, your at least your red blood cell count is like completely new. So this is why if I can just get people to go a good 30 days of eating really well, it will become much easier to eat really well, because they will feel better, they will have more energy, and their body will go, hey, I need the really high quality food to replace these red blood cells. And then every time you do it, your body will keep regenerating those cells stronger and healthier. So, and I have noticed this throughout my life too. So, because one of the reasons why I got into this, if you haven't paid attention to, who I am and what I've gone through, I was diagnosed with arthritis back in my late 20s. And a lot of it was related to the poor quality food that I ate when I was younger. So, and so a lot of my bones and my cartilage and everything else were all breaking down. And so I couldn't tolerate it. And doctors said that I was going to be in a wheelchair by the time I was 40. And I just told them that wasn't going to work for me. And that's why I got involved in this, because I started learning all of this stuff and realizing that, oh, I feel really great when I eat really great food. So, and I've just continued to dial that in more and more and more and more and more, because I don't ever want to feel like that again. So, so eating the best of the best is super important. So I do this more in the program, but I thought I would break it down just a little bit more, especially on the food part, because there's a reason why I put this as number one. It's the first thing that I start with people, is focusing on the intake of super high quality food, because you are going to get the biggest bang for your buck by eating the best of the best. So hands down, no matter what you do, I have clients that, have great blood numbers and they have 0 calcium scores in their arteries and everything else, not because they're exercising themselves to death, but because every meal they eat is the best of the best, and they focus on that. And because of that, they're able to heal their body and get it to develop the way they want it to develop. So Holistic Health Code 1.1 is we need to avoid all processed food. And the reason why we need to avoid all processed food is because when they process it, it loses a lot of the nutrition that we actually really need in our body. There is so many nutrients in there that we don't even know yet. The FDA still doesn't even recognize vitamin K2, and it has been around for, or we've known about it for at least 10, 15 years, and they still don't recognize it as a vitamin yet. So, and there's countless other things that we just don't even know exist. And so that's why we need to focus on, eating really food, because we're not even sure everything in there. But the big things that we need to avoid, and I put these in order of importance, things that I've learned from studies and other really great practitioners around the world and everything else overall this time. So the number one thing that we need to avoid, and I will also just say, if you just stay away from processed food, you stay away from all 5 of these. So it's that simple. So at least for the most part. So number 1, vegetable oils, seed oils, nut oils. Basically, if an oil is in a liquid form at room temperature, you don't want to be consuming it. So simply because it's damaged. I know there are tons of media and everything else out there. It's all bought and paid for. So when I get people to remove these things from their diet, they turn around tremendously. So the corn oil, the canola oil, the sunflower oil, the peanut oils, the safflower oils, all of them, they're all highly damaged, and they're all loaded with linoleic acid. And the challenging part with that is we're not supposed to consume that much linoleic acid. Linoleic acid is supposed to be about 2% of our diet. And the problem is, in the American diet today, with all of the processed food that's consumed, the percentage of linoleic acid consumed on average is about 30% linoleic acid, which is way too high. And so the imbalance is over the top, and we can't eliminate the linoleic acid out of our body fast enough at consuming it at that high of a rate, because most linoleic acid stays in our body for anywhere between 2 and 8 years. We really have to be in a fairly extreme state of ketosis to really start burning it. And that's why You hear a lot of people talking about ketosis and ketones and ketogenic diets and all that other sort of thing. I don't necessarily recommend all of that stuff because you don't need to like go to that kind of extreme to do this. When people really do, I talk them through the process of what they really need to do to burn these linoleic acids out of the body. But primarily what we really want to do is eat the healthy fats that are in our meats, and I'll get to that in a second. So second biggest one, the other part of that is those oils have only been around for about 110 years. So mankind has created them all, and they've only been around for 110 years. And about 100 years ago, all the doctors were saying that they were all the problem for all of the new diseases that were popping up in the 1920s. So, but they all got brushed under the carpet, and, big corporations got involved instead because they wanted to make more money. So the next one's high fructose corn syrups and corn sweeteners and things like that. So combination of things, these popped up in the 1970s and got pretty popular in the 1970s, and they've just been growing. Studies are showing now that they have anywhere between 3 and 4 times the calories that are actually listed on the label. So, and they have absolutely no nutritional value to them at all. They are super refined sugar. Studies show that people tend to eat anywhere between 300 and 500 calories more at a meal when they consume high fructose corn syrup, and that's not including the calories from the high fructose corn syrup. So it just really puts the body into hyperdrive mode. It's another big stimulant towards anxiety and things like that too. Artificial sweeteners are the next big ones because they are toxic chemicals. They're well known to cause cancers. Most of them are neurotoxins. If you want to watch a great documentary out there that's called Sweet Misery, it talks all about the dangers of artificial sweeteners. So got to stay away from those. Then there's this one that everybody fights me on: all grain, all nuts, and all seeds. And the reason why I say that is because in human history, we only ate these things when we were starving. We only ate these things when there was absolutely nothing else to eat, because they were food to just keep us alive until we could finally get what we really wanted. And so if you are not feeling great and you want to improve, should you be eating the food that's just going to barely keep you going, or should you be eating the food that is going to make you better? And in my book, that means staying away from all grain, all nuts, and all seeds. These are the part of the plants that are the reproductive part of the plants. They have the most amount of lectins and oxalates and everything else because the plant wants them to survive, because that's how the plant reproduces. Plants can't run away. They have chemicals in them that end up trying to keep you from eating the plants. So, and once again, the grains and the nuts and the seeds are also loaded with linoleic acid. So once again, it's just increasing that amount of linoleic acid into the body. And then the last one, which most people are thinking that I would put at the very top, is processed sugar. I want people to stay away from it, but in all reality, I would much rather have you eliminate the top 4 items and continuing to eat your processed sugar. Not a lot of it, of course, and not going crazy and all that other kind of stuff. But in all reality, processed sugar, it is a problem because people are consuming, way too much of it. But one of the reasons why I think people are consuming so much of it is because they're consuming too much of these top 4 things first. And that's just making them more hungry. All right. So that is Holistic Health Code 1.1, and Holistic Health Code 1.2 is eat the highest quality food you can. So stay away from those big 5 that I just covered. And what we really want to eat is we really want to eat these things. So organ meats. So from really well-raised animals, and we only need about 2 ounces a week. It's not very much. So whether you get them fresh or whether you get them in desiccated capsule form, like I do a lot of mine from Heart and Soil, and consuming them on a regular basis because they are the most nutritious part of the plant. They're the most nutrition part of the animal. Oh boy, I'm getting my animals and the plants mixed up. So with that, if you are out in Africa and a lion is taking down a zebra, the lion doesn't go for the leg, or the head or something like that. It goes right into the body cavity to get the organs. And, the lead lion will get right in there and, take the heart or take the liver or something like that. And then actually after that, we'll literally just walk away because it will just like going, hey, I got the best part. Everybody else can have the rest. I'm good. So it has the best protein quality. It has more vitamins and minerals and antioxidants and all sorts of other things. And since I have introduced more organ meats into my own nutrition plan, I'm able to train harder. I recover quicker. Same thing with all of my clients. Everybody always talks about how much better they feel when they actually introduce these things into their body. They are the #1 supplement that everybody should be taking. Rather than taking pills, get organ meats in. And if you're having a hard time doing it and you want to find different alternatives, reach out to me and let me know. So next, proteins from animal sources that are raised correctly. So grass-fed and grass-finished beef, buffalo, elk, venison, all that kind of good stuff. And then the same thing goes, and this is really hard to find, but even your other things, your poultry, your pork products, unfortunately, those animals are omnivores like we are. And so they only have one stomach too. And commonly they're fed a whole bunch of grain and a whole bunch of soy to make them really fat. And that's a bunch of linoleic acid, and they can't process it just like we can't process all of that heavy load of linoleic acid. So when you eat a sick chicken or turkey or something like that, it's going to make you sick too. So this is the problem. Most people are eating sick meat, and you can't make a healthy body out of sick meat. You have to eat and get the best of the best. It's why I order things from places like Wild Pastures and Force of Nature Meats and a few other places so that I get the best of the best. And when other opportunities come up where it's not the best of the best, I just pass. So, because I don't want to put that junk in my body, because I can tell the difference because I've been doing this for so long as to how it makes me feel. So, and then after we get into, and I will just say that I cover in more detail in my online program how much is good for you. So, and I will go over it, and I'll be creating another YouTube video on like how much proteins and stuff like that pretty soon. So you can look for that as well. So after that, we get into fresh fruit loaded with water, vitamins, minerals, enzymes, coenzymes, all sorts of great stuff there. Raw honey, very good. People go, oh, sugar, yeah, carbohydrates, they're great. There's also wonderful probiotics in there. I eat a spoonful of honey almost every day, and some days I eat more than one spoonful. So recent study that I found and I was looking at, that they took diabetics and didn't do any changes to their diet whatsoever. They just gave one group, and this is scary, they gave them 10 tablespoonfuls of honey a day. Not one, not two, they gave them 10 a day. And what happened? Their diabetes got better. Their insulin resistance got better. Why? Because they were actually eating real, natural, holistic food that the body knows what it is. And so they got healthier eating super sweet raw honey. Okay. So very, very important that we go back to what we've been doing for a long time. And then down below that, the fruity parts of vegetables. So like zucchini, cucumbers, squash, things like that. So once again, the seeds have the most lectins and toxins in them because the plant wants those to survive. And the plants will also raise the levels in the leaves and the sticks and the twigs part of the plants too. You can find that. All you got to do is find a documentary about giraffes, and it will talk about how when a giraffe walks up to the tree senses it and it immediately starts trying to increase the toxicity of the leaves so that the giraffe will only eat like a certain handful of leaves, and then it will go away and go to another tree. So because the giraffe will taste the fact that the leaves are starting to get bitter, and it will go, oh, well, I'm going to go somewhere else. And so then it will walk to another tree and so on, so that a giraffe doesn't just demolish a whole tree. So, so focus on eating the fruity parts of the vegetables as opposed to the other parts. So, and in all reality, you know, when it comes to the fruits and the vegetables, eat the ones you like. And the ones that you don't like, don't eat them. Perfectly fine. Enjoy the ones that you do. And then lastly, raw dairy, if you can tolerate it. Now, lots of people have issues with dairy, and a lot of times it's because they've been eating way too many grains, nuts, and seeds. Because the grains, nuts, and seeds disrupt and destroy a lot of the lining in your digestive system that actually creates the enzymes to break down dairy. Big, long, confusing thing, and I'm not going to go into it right now, but the big thing is if you clean up, I've had lots of people come to me with issues with dairy, and when they've spent a good couple of years cleaning their diet up and staying away from all of the nuts and the seeds and the oils and everything else, typically after about 2 years, they're perfectly fine with consuming dairy again. So, so it is possible, but it's down at the bottom simply because a lot of people need to just focus on the organ meats, your super quality proteins from your muscle meats from animals, your fresh fruit, your honey, and your fruity parts of vegetables. And they need to focus on that first. And then once they do that for a long enough time, then they can move on to dairy. All right, so long time there on Holistic Code 1, 1.1, and 1.2. So now Holistic Health Code 2. I'm going to speed it up and go a little bit quicker. Hydration. So learn this phrase from Paul Chek: the best solution for pollution is dilution. So we need to drink water. Our body should be a good 70% water. When you're born, your body is actually a lot closer to 80% water. And when people die, they're typically closer to 60% water. So keep your water intake up. It's used in every single system and every single function that your body does. So, and it's required to make every single one of those cells. So good rule of thumb, people talk about 8 glasses a day. That's fine if that works for you, or 10 glasses a day. One good way to know what your minimum water intake should be is 1 ounce for every 2 pounds of body weight. So I weigh roughly about 180 pounds right now. So half of that is 90. So my bare minimum water intake per day is 90 ounces. I talk about this in my holistic health codes, but you know, come up with a system that works for you. I fill up 3 32-ounce water bottles a day, and I make sure that they're all gone by 5 p.m. So, and if they're not, well, then I'm behind. But when I practice it enough, it's very easy to get them to be all gone. The first one's gone by 10 a.m., second one's gone by 1 p.m., and the last one's gone by 5 p.m. So, and then I drink other water on top of that. Okay, so hydration, super important. Holistic health code number 3 is sleep. What do we do when we're sick? We tend to sleep a lot. So if you are not feeling great, if you're not recovering well, if you're not happy with the way your body is feeling, make sure you are focusing on your sleep. I will say this: when you eat all the healthy food in Holistic Health Code 1, it will improve your sleep. So tremendously. So with big important things about sleep is getting to bed early, not staying up late. So in bed by 10 p.m. and getting some sleep, and preferably sleeping a good 8 hours a night so that you get, you know, fully rested, so that you wake up without an alarm clock. And doesn't mean you can't have one on. I have mine on every morning, but I'm typically awake before it goes off. Sometimes I actually get up before it goes off. A lot of times I just lay there and wait for it to go off. So But sleep, super duper important for recovery. And if you're having issues with it, well, like everything else, reach out to me. Lots of easy ways to put it into the right space to improve it. So holistic health code 4, breathing. Oxygen is our primary source of energy, not food. Food is what we build our body with. Food is what we replace all of our tissue with. But oxygen is what our body runs on. Your heart does not run on food. Your heart runs on oxygen. That's why if, and same thing kind of goes with your brain. That's why they're like, oh yeah, if your heart stops beating and you stop breathing, within 3 minutes, your, brain cells start dying. So all of your cells are dependent upon oxygen. And so they need that first. And a lot of issues come up, everything from back pain to digestive issues and all sorts of other stuff, simply because people are not breathing enough. Neck pain and overworking the secondary respiratory muscles. So I have many videos on my YouTube channel about how to breathe better and practice breathing. So that you can learn how to take a big inhale in through the nose and fill the belly up first and the diaphragm, and then finish off by filling up the chest, and then exhaling out through the nose or mouth. So very, very important. Practice every day. I practice when I stretch. I practice when I do my Tai Chi. I practice when I walk. I practice all the time. So every moment I get when a client is talking with me, I'm practicing my breathing. So it's very, very important. Even now, even though I'm typically inhaling in through my mouth, with every breath I take in, I am filling my diaphragm up so that then I can talk more quickly and fluidly. So holistic health code number 5, movement. So I am not big into the crazy kill yourself workout kind of stuff. That whole phrase of no pain, no gain is ridiculous. So I get people massive results without pain and discomfort and everything else. It doesn't need to be that way. And if you go all the way back to that, to the pictures in the front of one of my clients that was sprinting on the track, she was ranked number 2 in her age division in the country, only training 2 days a week for an hour each day. That's it. So if you do the right things in the right way, you don't need to do a whole lot of it. We just need to move. We're a big bag of fluid, and that fluid needs to get pushed all around, because that fluid should have all the nutrients, vitamins, and minerals that are coming in from the food, that really great, amazing food that you're actually eating. So, but every day we need to move that bag around and pump the fluid around. So walking, gardening, swimming, dancing, jumping rope, running around, playing with your kids in the park, cycling, anything you want to do, things that you just like to do movement wise, get out there and do them. And the more variety you can get with it, the better. Pickleball's getting really popular right now. You're going to have to move and do things. So get out and just move and have fun with it. Pick things that you're going to do and you're going to stick with, and then, change them up. So when people ask me what is the best exercise out there, I always say the one that you're going to continue to do for the rest of your life, because we need to keep moving forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. All right. So that was 1 through 5. So now let's go to 0. Holistic health code 0. It is 0 because 0 comes before everything else. It is 0 because everything, all potential comes from 0. So, and 0 represents love, desire, passion, legacy, dreams, goals. So what this all comes down to is the clients that have a big enough dream, goal, desire, passion that's bigger than their aches and their complaints and their difficult habits to change and their addictions to their junk food or whatever else, those that come up and create their desires, dreams, and goals and passions and focus on them, those are the clients that are successful. Those are the clients that stick with what they're doing and don't fall off the wagon and go back the other direction. They're the ones that keep moving forward and keep learning and achieve their goals and their dreams and their passions and their desires. And so if you just sign up for any old program, like say at the beginning of the year, and you're like, oh yeah, I'm going to do this thing for 6 weeks, blah, 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 blah. And then that's going to key me into doing it for the rest of your life. If you don't have a really big desire that's pushing you through that process, it's very difficult to maintain it. So only those people that are kind of more into that, that have better willpower and or just kind of more of the type of person that, oh yeah, well, I'm doing this just because it's good for me and I know it's good for me, even though they don't necessarily like it. That's still not necessarily a good way of doing it, but they'll be more successful than people that don't. So it's very challenging, but the biggest key is, and this is like one of the hardest things for me to get clients to sit down and do, is to take the time to figure out what it truly is in life that they are passionate enough about to make the changes to accomplish what they really want to accomplish and to really feel good. So, but I will say that all the ones that have do. So I like the word love because I learned a little lesson on how to use the letters to kind of like keep it fresh in my mind every day, because I remind myself of this every day. And so L stands for life. We have our life. We just have this one life. Who knows if there's reincarnation or not? I don't know. But one way or the other, I have this life that I'm focused on, and I want to create in this life what I want to create in this life. And so that's what the L stands for, is creating what you want to do in this life and enjoying it. The O in love stands for zero, and all potential comes from zero. Zero is empty and everything comes from it. And so the O in love stands for the fact that we have the ability to do whatever we really want to do. We just have to believe it and get enough education and enough practice and enough experience to accomplish it. So everybody told me that I could not get into this field long, long ago, and told me no, 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 no. And I listened forever and ever and ever. And it wasn't until I got into my 30s when I really decided that I wasn't going to listen to anybody else anymore. So, and I was just going to do it. And now I'm good and successful with it. So VE is an electrical symbol standing for volt electron, or energy. So love stands for life, pure potential, and energy, because we have life force energy, and we can take that energy and we can create with it whatever we want, as long as we are following our holistic health codes so that we have our energy. So the other big thing about this is you need to find what your love and passion is first, and take that time and sit down. So examples may be creating a business, finding a new job, having a family and healthy children, being able to play with your grandchildren, playing sports, learning new things. Can be even just like, say, learning how to play the piano. That's one of my ones on the list. I mean, I used to kind of know a little bit when I was a kid, but I kind of want to get back into it, but we'll see. And then lastly, I have down here at the bottom, because sometimes initially people have a hard time coming up with this. And this builds into mine a little bit too, is the fear of becoming dependent upon others as you get older. So to where your body breaks down and it's not functioning very well anymore. And so if you have to use the fear thing to get yourself going at first, well, that's fine. So, and then as you go along with the process, especially as you start feeding that brain, it might be easier to come up with those things that create the passion in you so that you can move forward. So I will give you a quick example of me. So the way that we really start off with this is you need to focus on your I love, or loving yourself. So, and so big things that have always been important to me is my sports, and feeling good and taking care of my health. As growing up, I was watching the way that my family was going and other people in society, and becoming overweight and becoming more sedentary. And that's not the direction I wanted to go. I wanted to be healthy and fit, and I loved playing my sports. It made me always feel good. It still does today, even though I'm not as fast as I was when I was in my 20s. I still have a wonderful time and feel amazing. And so I focused on that to drive my lifestyle so that it kept me pushing and eating properly and sleeping properly and everything else, so that I could feel really great and function. And then as I did that more and more, I got healthier and my brain got healthier. And it was like, look, important thing for me is then after I got really good at the I, then we focus on the we. And I knew that I wanted to have a life partner, someone to share my life with, and that, we could grow together and experience life together, and different things, and enjoy our each other's company. And so thankfully I found my wife, Nadine. We got married almost 20 years ago. Our 20th wedding anniversary is this April. And so, and I got clear on what that person looked like. So as I became more clear on what was important to the I became more clear on what did I really need to find in a complement to me. And that was where I was able to find my we. Now, it doesn't need to necessarily, your we relationships. In fact, we have lots of them. Any just, one-to-one relationships. It can be a business partner. It can be you and just like say your kid or a friend or anything like that. All of those are we relationships, but I just kind of use this particular one as an example. But our we relationships are very important, and they end up driving things too. And so I want to be happy and healthy and fit for all of my we relationships, so that I can give 100% to my wife and my friends and that sort of thing. And that kind of leads into the all. So one of the big parts of my all is, now we have my son Chase. And so we have a family. And so that's my first part of my all, that I need to be the best I can be for all of them, so that I can hold up my part of what we call the Fin team, so that I'm, not too tired to do the things that I need to do around the house, or incapable of doing the things that I need to do around the house, or anything else like that. So very important that I take care of my I and my we, so that I can take care of the all. And then the other parts of the all can be all of your friends, or for me, it's like my business that I've created, and taking care of all of my clients. So I try to lead by example, and taking care of all of my clients, so that I can show them that, hey, it can be done. Does it take some work to learn all of these things and to develop them into your practice? Yes. I tell people, you better plan on expending at least a year, more like 3 to 10, getting all of this into your life. It takes time. So unless you have nothing else to do and you can make this your full-time job, it's going to take a decent amount of effort to make the changes, and to learn all the things that you need to do, and to change all of the patterns in your life to actually really progress and feel great. But it will take time, but it's part of knowing the alls. And so now I have a business that I love, and every year I evaluate these things, and I check in and I make sure that things are going in the right direction. So This leads to, how do we start all of this? So a good way to start practicing your holistic health code zero is at the end of every day, sitting down with a notepad or the notes on your phone or however else that you write things down. I really recommend that you don't just do this in your mind. I recommend that you actually get this down somewhere so that you can review it occasionally too. But every day, sitting down and writing 1 to 3 things that you're happy about how the day went, or what you did different that day, or what worked for you that day, or anything like that. Just 1 to 3 positive things. What made you happy? What was it really good? So like today, it was really busy. It was hard to, I was, juggling a lot of different things. I had a lot of things going on, a couple of things that I really hadn't planned for, but I still managed to get outside in the sunny day today and loosen up and get some light sprinting in. And so much better for it. I feel great just simply because I got out and did literally 3 sprints. So it wasn't much, just enough to make me feel amazing. So the second part is 1 to 3 things that you are grateful for. So things that you've already accomplished or things that happened that day that you're just happy for. So like every day, I'm happy that I have my family that's so wonderful. I'm happy that I have my clients every day. I'm grateful for all of them. I'm happy for, the fact that we live in a little town. I'm happy for the fact that the sun was out today. Just all that kind of stuff. Whatever the 1 to 3 things are that you are super grateful for that particular day, so that you remind yourself of that. And then lastly, and trying not to dwell on this or making it super negative or anything like that, but 1 to 3 things, and it's perfectly fine to just start off with 1, that you would like to make a little bit different, or that you would like to change, that maybe you're not super happy with, or maybe you're not super happy with, what you did that particular day. So whether it's, you aren't following one of the holistic health codes as good as you can, or whatever, or maybe you yelled at somebody and you wish you hadn't have, or anything like that. So, but just put it down, and then that way you can see a pattern. And if you start to see a pattern to where in this last part of the things that you would like to be a little bit different every day, if you notice that 1 thing or 2 things keep popping up in there every day, those are things that you probably should stop and pay attention to. Because if they're bothering you every day, that's causing a lot of stress mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically. So make sure that you take a little bit of time to just do this every day. It really doesn't take very long at all, 5 minutes tops. So just really quickly, especially once you get used to it, and it will help you focus for the next day as to how you maybe want to do things a little bit differently. So, and make sure these things are focused on you, not things that you have, control over. So even though I said, I'm grateful for, the sunny day or something like that, don't make your negative thing, oh yeah, it rained today. So you have no control over that. So that's the weather. And there's lots of other things that we don't have control over either, but make sure there are things that, you can have an effect on. So whether it's other relationships or anything like that, but make sure it's a focus around you, and not external. Like I talked about in first, the I needs to come first. The more you take care of yourself, and focus on the I, the easier it is to do the we and the all. So it just follows suit really quick and easy. All right. So the other aspect of this is you can still join in to my holistic health codes if you want to. You just go to my website, www.finfit.com, click on the little shop button and the online programs. It's right there at the top of the page. You just click on that. It's free, at least through the first week of March, maybe longer. We'll just see. And I will try to catch everybody up if you are jumping in now. And there will be more to come. And once I put code 6 out there, I will be focusing a little bit more on code 0 again in the program. And I will probably have another Zoom meeting like this towards the tail end of next month or in March. So I hope that wasn't too long. I tried to make that as quick as I possibly could. So, and I hope you enjoyed it all. And